And we're live. Welcome to Unicorn Chef. Unfortunately, you have Mike Ellis again. That's me. Bryson is at a conference right now. I think he's in a bikini competition. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm confident he's going to win. So thanks for coming. If you're going to be making food along with us, I highly suggest you do. If you're going to share pictures, you're going to share thoughts, you're going to share memories, you're going to poop talk me, or you're going to poop talk our Unicorn Chef Kurt. Just use a hashtag Unicorn Chef, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. We kind of really don't care. Just talk about us. We're needy in that way. And welcome to Kurt.
Thanks, everyone. So I'm Kurt Alaybeyoglu. You can find me on Twitter at Kurt the Turk. So I've been in the cybersecurity realm in one way or another for 10 years now. So yeah, as the handle suggests, I am Turkish. And so I'm second generation Turk. Both my parents were fresh off the boat out of Turkey, and so I always like to try and share Turkish cooking when I can. But as I was just telling Mike backstage before, Turkish cooking often tends to be complicated and take a long time. And I know ain't nobody got time for that. So I picked something. Yeah, ain't nobody got time for that. So I picked something that was a go-to for my parents. They were both working parents, and I was an only child, so their go-to was köfte, which is a common thing that you'll find in most Turkish restaurants. Everyone makes it differently. We're going to make the normal tava köfte that you see, and then we're also going to make some side dishes. We're going to make piyaz, which is a bean salad. That's a common side dish, and we're going to make cacık, or you probably know it as tzatziki sauce. Greek people like to use it as like a sauce. We use garlic yogurt as a sauce for a lot of dishes, but we also cacık is more like a gazpacho. It's like it's a side dish that you put with cucumber and the garlic yogurt, and you add a little bit of ice cubes in it at the end, in order to
make it looser.
Down and, make it a little looser and make it into like a cold soup. So
that's fun. Do you have a charity that you want people to know about?
Yes, it's actually the same charity that Bryson, myself, and Alan Friedman raised money for just a few weeks ago at alongside ShmooCon. So it's the World WCF Kitchen, which is the World Charity Kitchen, WC Kitchen, that's what it is. The head chef that runs it is literally boots on the ground in Ukraine right now, feeding people.
Wow.
And so that was amazing to me, and it was my way of participating and feeling like I could contribute, do something that can help. We managed to raise at that previous event $7,000 that went straight to the WC Kitchen.
Wow.
So every extra penny that we can put towards it, that's what I'm trying to do.
It's a wonderful cause, to be truthful. Yeah. So generally, I generally say go with the SPCA, but I think in light of current events and what have you, I think Kurt's make a lot more sense. So if you're watching, quick Google, donate, give your time, or donate, give your money, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
But what are you drinking?
I am drinking. It's my first time bringing it out. It's a Redbreast 12. So yeah. So my mentor is G. Mark Hardy, and So I've kind of been into Scotch and bourbon myself, but he's actually really big into Irish whiskey. His family is from Ireland, and so his ancestral hometown is where they distill Writer's Tears, which is the side one for this. So he actually got me on his last trip to Ireland. He came back and he got me I paid for it, but he got me the Writer's Tears, the Mizunara Japanese Cask, and this one is actually my favorite. It's the Double Oak.
Yep.
Which is really nice. So I only recently started, trying and dabbling in Irish whiskey. So
you mentioned before, a bunch of people that we co-follow, and Ushi and Geek Steve, they're big on bourbons, they're big on tons of whiskey.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Irish whiskey.
Yeah, Irish whiskey seems to be like, even though it's the most, proliferant, like the easiest to find,
Yep.
it seems to be the one that not many people tend to pay as much attention to. But there's just as much history and craftsmanship, etc., that goes into it. So I'm just learning and dipping my toes into it.
Well, in honor of you, I'm drinking a red wine, a fat bastard.
Yeah.
It's a Pinot Noir from 2020. Generally, I drink box wine, but I figured learning to cook new stuff, I should venture out into a glass bottle. Bryson tells me I'm not. Actually, it's more so. Well, listen, Caitlin, it tells me I'm not. I'm not
Hey,
fancy.
there's nothing wrong with box wine. There's a lot of great box wines, and actually, my thing is I hate paying a lot of money for wine in particular,
Yeah.
because you can. And a great story is, so my mom's birthday is 2 days before mine. So we typically I'm close with my mom. We celebrate our birthdays together, and she always brings a nice bottle of wine because she loves red wine. And this one birthday, she brought a $50 Bordeaux, and I had a $3 Spanish Tempranillo that we got from Whole Foods. Literally $3, $2.99 bottle. And the Bordeaux was undrinkable, and we downed that $3 bottle of Tempranillo in a night, like without even thinking about it. It was that good.
It's the way, though, man. Palates are really funny. You get somebody that has, like, I don't know if you've watched those documentaries, Into the Somme, and these folks that are like going towards their master sommelier, and they're great documentaries, and they take it super seriously, but that's their career. But my career is consuming wine, so I find something I find something that I like, and I stick with it. And box wine, black box, it's good.
But yeah, black box is great. Black box is high quality stuff that they really, it just comes in a box as opposed to a bottle. So
Amen. Well, speaking of high quality, buddy, let's get this going.
Right. Okay. So we are going to start with the side dishes, because the longer they sit, the better they're going to taste. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our can of beans. They could be kidney beans. They could be whatever. And we're going to open up the can, and we're going to dump and rinse it out.
Now, are you making sure that it's like a good thorough drain?
Yeah.
A good thorough rinse?
Yeah, drain and give it a rinse.
Beans are great because you can fart.
Beans are great. So a lot of cuisine in most countries, tend to come around scarcity, how much money people have, and so beans were often used to. And so you can probably see, but I'm just draining it out in the sink over here.
Gorgeous.
And giving it a nice rinse. I don't know if I can actually get the camera over here, but you guys get the picture.
We either hear the water going or it didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. Let me get the headphones, the microphone on the headphones in close. All right, there we go. So now we're just gonna grab this. We're gonna throw the beans into the bowl.
Okay.
There we go. Next, we are going to take about half an onion and half a yellow onion. What we're going to do is so remove the skin on the outside. You can see I'm going to try and angle myself so everyone can see. Remove the skin. Don't eat the skin. Most Turks were poor. We're not that poor. What was that?
Oh, that was just a quick shot from my sink.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, buddy.
No, you're fine. It just surprised me.
What kind of are we putting a dice on these guys?
We are actually going to just thinly slice. So we're gonna cut them in half one more time. So we're gonna quarter it, And what we're going to do is we're going to cut along the side. We're just going to very thinly slice them.
Okay.
Excellent. Oops. Onion down. All right. We're going to take our quarter and we're going to just break it up so that the individual. Actually, before we throw it into there, here's a trick that we do in order to make the onions a little less harsh.
Okay.
What you're going to do is you're going to take the onions. You're going to put them into a small bowl after you've diced them up, and then you're going to take some salt. It can be coarse salt. It can be fine grained salt. Doesn't matter. But you're going to take about like large pinch. You're going to drop it into the onions, and you're going to mix and rub the onions with the salt. Give it a nice good rub. That salt is going to dehydrate the onions, and it's going to push a lot of the juice of the onions or the water of the onions out, which will reduce that kind of bit of pungency that most people don't like.
So we're kind of giving the onion a happy ending.
Exactly. Making sure it wants to come back for more service. All right. Once we've given it a nice rub, we're going to let that sit. Woo! All right, we're going to let that sit on the side there. Now we're going to mix our vinaigrette.
Okay.
Just going to be olive oil, good olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, and some rice wine vinegar. To this, I mean, people are looking for, how much to how much. For vinaigrettes, I always say go to taste. If you're using a good olive oil, you want to make sure that you can taste the olive oil while still having that bit of astringency from the vinegar. I like mine to be a little bit more sour. So.
Okay. Am I putting this into the beans?
No, not yet. We're gonna put it to the side just to mix it up.
Oh,
so that we have it nice and blended together, and we can give it a taste, and see if we like the taste. If we want to add more oil, if we want to add more vinegar.
So we're talking
actually a little bit more.
Quarter cup of oil here.
Yeah, about a quarter cup. Come on.
I literally just dumped oil on my cutting board. That's good.
Whoopsie! All right. So now that we've got that mixed, let me make sure that. All right. So once you've got it mixed to your liking, you're going to go ahead and pour it over the beans. Give it a nice coat. Mix it up. Now we're going to add our spices. So we're going to add some bit of sumac into it. Sumac is not entirely necessary, but if you can find it, you want to experiment with it. Sumac is a great spice to work with. It has a nice sour kind of, I don't know how to describe it other than sour. I mean, it's very aromatic.
Yeah, it's got a nice kind of citrusy, sour kind of end to it.
Yeah.
What kind of measurement are we putting in? Like a teaspoon, quarter teaspoon?
Teaspoon of sumac. Sorry, I'm doing the Turkish measurements, which is you can never ask a Turkish cook to tell you what measurements are. Biraz şundan, biraz ondan, a pinch here, a dash there, a suson, this much,
Nothing wrong with that. So sumac, what else?
Sumac, you're going to add a bit of dried mint to it, probably a quarter teaspoon. And a bit of dill weed. Actually, I'm going to take the dill weed that I already have that's open, since I keep buying dill because I'm like, I don't think I have enough dill, or I don't think I have any dill. And I have 3. So for the dill, it's going to be again another like about quarter teaspoon, assuming I can get it open. There we go.
All right.
Go ahead, give it a nice good mix. Mix it. All right. Now our onions should be, so I don't know if I can bring it in, but move it this way. But you'll see that there's a nice, like the water starting to come out of the bottom of the onions.
Yeah.
So what you're going to do is you're going to take it and you're just going to drain that water out into the sink. And then you're going to put the softened onions into there. And then we're just going to let it sit. That's it. We're done with that. So we're going to give the onions a nice good squeeze to get that onion pungent water out. And then just go ahead and also throw it on your, not a colander, but whatever this thing is. Strainer, thank you. The word wasn't coming to me. And then give it a nice rinse. We don't want the onions to be too salty, so we want to rinse the salt off of that.
Okay.
All right. Once you've given it a nice rinse, squeeze that out. All right. Go ahead and take your onions, dump them into the salad, and mix into the beans. I think I've lost like a quarter of my quarter onions to the floor at this point.
I'm an onion kind of guy, so I put in half of an onion.
Now there you go. All right. Now that we've got everything nice and up, we're gonna set that aside and let it sit. I thought it was mine for a second.
No.
All right. So with that, we're going to let that sit to the side for a second. What I was saying was, the longer you let that sit, the longer the flavors get to infuse. So, I mean, if you don't finish it tonight, you can definitely leave it overnight in the fridge. Just cover it up, and it'll be even better the next day.
And this will just continue to kind of ferment, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good. Yeah, I mean, not really ferment. I mean, the oil and the vinegar will keep baddies off of it. But if it's fermenting,
Sorry, what I meant by ferment, I apologize, was intensify.
Yeah. But not it's not percolate either. There's a word for that. Hold on, it's not simmer. It's not percolate. It's whatever the hell.
Marinate?
Marinate. There you go. That's the word. I can English. Habibi, my friend, I speak English, I promise. Okay, next we're going to work on is the garlic yogurt, is the jajuk. So I'm just going in and... Am I a dummy? I think I am a dummy. Like, just made the last of it for Nelly. All right, well, I'll just grab the yogurt and we'll work on the sauce. So I was a dummy, and I can still just make it without the cucumber. So I was a dummy, and I just found out that I used the last of my cucumber in making a side dish for my wife. But we are going to take our Greek yogurt, and we're going to make the base for it. And then I'll still make the gazpacho on the side, and then basically all you do is just dice the jajuk, and all you're gonna do is just dice, and I can walk you through dicing the cucumbers, put it in there. So first thing we're gonna need, we've got our garlic out there, or rather, we've got our yogurt. So you can take any Greek kind of very thick yogurt. I normally like Chobani. This is just what I have in my fridge right now. Fun fact: Chobani is actually run by a Turkish guy.
Oh, okay.
Greek yogurt that's sold by a Turk.
Sweet.
Çoban actually means farmer in Turkish. So.
Oh.
All right, so for our garlic, we're going to take some minced garlic. If you've got fresh that you want to mince, fresh works great. I also like this because it's simple and easy, like pre-minced garlic.
How many heads are you putting in?
3, anywhere from for like a whole. If you're going to take the whole container, about 3 to 4 cloves of garlic will work for it. If you want to, separate half of it off, if you don't want the whole thing to be garlic yogurt. You can separate it off and divide. So half, put 2 cloves. I'm gonna put about 3 cloves into mine because I've already used a bit of it. Assuming I can actually open this. There we go. All right, half teaspoon equals approximately 1 clove of garlic. So we're gonna put 1.5 teaspoons. 1, 2.
1.5 teaspoons of garlic.
People are gonna 1.5 teaspoons of the minced stuff equals 3 cloves of garlic.
Okay.
People are gonna be looking at me like, this scrub, he's using pre-minced garlic. Okay. Then once you add that into your yogurt, you're also going to add about a teaspoon of salt. Fine salt, not coarse, simply because you don't want to be crunching on salt crystals. There's my, there we go. And the reason for that, you might think salt in yogurt. Why? Because the salt actually brings out the flavor of the garlic when it's in the yogurt. And this is another thing where the longer you let it sit, the better it gets. And I wouldn't be a proper Turk if I didn't say, mix your yogurt with a fork. And my grandmother used to smack my mom when she was cooking that, because she would always use a spoon. Niye kaşık kullanıyorsun? Çatal kullan. Use a fork.
So I just used a spatula, so I'm probably...
Grandma's rising up. Come on.
Tell her I said I'm sorry. Oh, so you're mixing this right into the container. That's brilliant.
Pretty much. So Turks would actually, garlic yogurt was a common thing mostly because the garlic would actually preserve the yogurt. So this is dating all the way back to before we had refrigeration. We even actually have it's so much ingrained into our culture. We actually have a little tongue twister rhyme about it. So sarımsak is garlic in Turkish, okay. and sakla is high. So and the way Turkish goes, it when you conjugate words, anyway, it's complicated. But the way the tongue twister goes, sarımsakla sak, sarımsakla sak, sarımsaklama sak, sarımsakla sak. Should we add the garlic and hide it, or should we not add the garlic and hide it?
Awesome.
Much less tongue twisty in English. Okay. So once that's mixed together, what we're going to do is we are going to take a bowl. Now, for you, since you're smart and you probably actually already have the cucumbers, what I'm going to want you to do is take your cucumbers after you've washed them. You're going to cut them in half and then quarter them, and then you're going to slice them into small pieces across the edge. We're going to put that into our bowl. We're going to spoon in some of our yogurt, or fork in some of our yogurt into our bowl.
I'm taking the skins partially off, not all the way.
Yeah. You can kind of do it like I'm not in camera. You can do it like a little, a cross, and leave it like a stripe.
A little cucumber landing strip.
Yep, exactly. And while you do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of bunch parsley here. I'm going to wash it. I'm going to chop up the parsley. We're going to garnish that on top. That's another thing about Turkish food. We add parsley to everything. We even have a saying for it. How to be boka? I don't know. For every shit we add parsley.
Really? Is there a special variety of parsley? Because I know when I go to the grocery store, it says Italian parsley.
Yeah, just not the curly parsley.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as it's not the curly parsley, you're fine. Italian parsley is pretty much the parsley we used. I mean, most people don't realize Turkey's south border is the Mediterranean. So
fair enough. Yeah.
We are very much Mediterranean people. We talk with our hands. We do this. All right. So I'm gonna take my parsley. Just gonna finely chop it. I guess I should stand. I don't have a videographer. I'm not going to do the Gordon Ramsay. Come here, look. Caesar, look at this. This is just amazing here. Come take a look.
There's been a folks that have come on and done that. Raul or El Jefe de Security did that. He had his kid kind of doing the videographer stuff for him.
That's awesome. All right. So, yeah. Once you have that all nice and mixed in, you're going to garnish the top with parsley and with dried mint.
And with dried what, sorry?
Dried mint.
Oh. Okay.
And then we can go ahead and take 1 or 2 ice cubes, and we're going to let that sit. Let it marinate. That's going to be the word. That's going to be the word of this unicorn chef, marinate. And for the dried mint, you're just gonna sprinkle it over top.
How's this look?
It's looking good. Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna take my 2 ice cubes. I'm just gonna drop it right in here, and I'm just gonna let it sit. And it's going to cool the yogurt, and it's gonna slowly thin it out. Okay.
I just cheated and took a little bite of the beans. It's unbelievably good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it'll get better. Like I said, the longer you leave it, the better it gets. All right. So now I'm just gonna clean up a bit. I'm gonna put the yogurt away. Saklayacağız. All right. Now that we're done with all the side dishes, now it's on to the main dish, the köfte. Let me move this over to the side. So first thing we can do is we're going to take. Whoops. All right. Take a sip. Oh, good stuff. Okay. We're going to take our ground beef. I have about like a pound of ground beef, 85-15. 80-20 is preferred, but as long as you're not at like 90-10 or any higher than that, you're fine. You need a bit of fat in order for it to cook well, whether it's on the grill or on the top.
We want a pound in there, right?
Yep. All right. We've got our chunk of meat in there. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to take our remaining half of our onion, and we are going to finely dice it. That's going to go into the meat.
So we're looking for a really thin cut here, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm assuming we want to think we want it to actually cook inside the meat.
I'm sorry?
I'm assuming we want a nice thin cut because we want it to actually cook inside the meat and not be chunky.
Yeah, we don't want large chunks. It's going to be visible in the meat, but we don't want it to be like giant pieces that can break it up. There we go.
I do have to say that these are scenarios just kind of cutting, where you want a good knife and you want a very sharp knife.
Yeah, I actually just because I was a little paranoid, I actually sharpened my knife before I started this. I was like, I don't want to be sitting here struggling with a dull knife, like really pushing down hard.
What knife do you have?
It's Chicago cutlery, nothing special.
I'm not sponsored by them, but I'm cutting with a Kramer.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't cook enough to warrant myself dishing out for Damascus well-plated knives that and like the ICSI sharpeners and all that stuff, maintaining a 15-degree beveled edge and all that jazz.
But it's not so easy.
So once you got a nice uniform dice, and I'll bring it up so that everyone can see right around like yay big pieces.
Pretty.
Yeah, pretty thin. All right, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna dump that in with our ground beef. We're going to add some of that chopped parsley.
Okay.
If you have any from before that you chopped up, actually I'm gonna chop up another sprig or two, just because not enough McDonald's. No McDonald's. All right, how are we doing on time? We're already at the half-hour point. Okay, I'll leave it up to you. Cool. All right, there we go.
It sounds like you're doing a good knife dance over there.
So we're gonna throw now for cumin. My family likes a lot of cumin in köfte. Not everyone is like that, so this is gonna be one of those where you're just gonna learn how much the taste you like. I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of cumin into the mix.
I'm gonna do the same.
Okay. I might add just a little bit more. Yeah. And then we're gonna add about a teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of pepper. You can do it to eye. Where's my salt and pepper shaker? There they are.
I don't care what you say, Kurt. I'm gonna measure it. The only people that measure are bakers, and they're all terrible people.
Have you? So my wife actually recently binged the Is It Cake show on Netflix.
Yeah.
I gotta say, while the show itself was kind of mindless for me, it is really incredible the artisan work that goes into making something look realistic and also making it edible.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And yeah, I'm a fat guy. I love cake, but my time investment for cake is like an hour.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and spend like 6 hours working on a Van Gogh masterpiece here.
But they're amazing. They're absolutely amazing. Well, you got breadcrumbs in there. Okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna add some breadcrumbs and we're also gonna add some paprika to it.
Okay.
The breadcrumbs, Yeah, probably about like 2 or 3 tablespoons.
Okay.
Something like that. There we go. All right, now we get to the good fun part. Mix it all up. Now, if you're following along, you'll notice I didn't use any eggs for a binding agent or anything like that because it really doesn't need it. It is already pretty heavy,
Yeah.
and you're not adding enough stuff into it that it's going to really need a binding agent. But there are plenty of recipes you'll look online and they'll say crack an egg into it. My family's never done that.
And I think if you put enough dry seasoning and breadcrumb, it binds well enough.
Yeah.
We also have a pretty severe egg allergy in the house, so we've kind of learned to not use eggs in certain ways.
Gotcha.
Or not, period, to be honest, but yeah.
Yeah. Egg allergies are so rare, actually. The first time I came across a close friend, I didn't know she was allergic to eggs. I eat eggs almost every morning for breakfast. So she came over and I was, doing Turkish host things. I'm making kahvaltı all the time, making breakfast for her, and then it was like a spit take when she told me, it's like, oh, I can't have eggs. Like, what?
Yes.
I don't know what to do.
My oldest nephew has a really severe peanut allergy and had a very severe egg allergy when he was a baby. But thankfully, he grew out of the egg allergy.
Oh, that's good. All right. So now once we've got it nice and mixed, now what we're going to do is we're going to take about a handful each, and we're going to squeeze them into a hand patty like this. It's going to look a little bit like a mini hamburger. So you're just going to take it, you're going to put it into like a mini hand patty like this.
Okay. And are we frying these or are we ovening them?
We're gonna put it on the pan. We're gonna saute it.
Okay. So I just started my pan a couple seconds ago.
Okay, perfect. I should do the same.
I'm using a cast iron for the people watching.
I am as well. The people that are watching, I've got this nice one that has you can't see because of the lighting, but it has the ridges that can put those nice little grill marks into it.
Ribbed for your pleasure.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to give my yogurt a stir. Ooh. Well, that's loosening up lovely with 2 ice cubes in it.
Yep.
It's amazing how herby, I cook a lot. I cook in a very Irish kind of way. So very basic, sausage and red meat. Nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
When you kind of delve outside, boiling steak. Cooking with herbs is so beautiful.
Yeah, it is, and people often they have a kind of like they don't want to experiment with the different herbs, and I can actually kind of understand that. Like there are a lot of different ways. Like for instance, until I married my wife, until I started dating her and started experiencing like real home Hispanic Colombian food, I didn't know what adobo was, and if I would have probably walked into a supermarket, I probably would have never bought adobo. Now adobo is a regular staple in our cooking in our house.
So can I ask you kind of like a non-knowledgeable question because I don't really know?
Sure.
I did a bunch of reading when you sent me the recipe today because I got super, and I told you yesterday I had Turkish food for dinner because I wasn't sure what we would cook. When I started looking at recipes, I started kind of thinking about the spices that are going into this. If you added chili powder to it, it would take on a very Spanish kind of feel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. So we don't typically use chili powder. So a lot of that actually comes from the Ottoman Empire is very vast. Yeah. It reached a lot of different periods, and you also had a huge in Spain. You had a huge Muslim community in there with s'mores. And so there are a lot of different fusions of flavors and cultures and things, like things that we as Turks take as part of our food. I mean, you trace back to Italy, you trace back to Azerbaijan, you trace it back to Armenia. Like lahmacun is a very popular. It's like we call it Turkish pizza. Historically speaking, I'm pretty sure it actually comes from Armenia. It was not primarily a Turkish thing. But like all things that comes from that melding pot of areas, we adapted it and made it ours.
I kind of laugh because you look at mint. I myself, not being like a worldly chef by any stretch, I would look at mint and be like, yeah, I like mint kind of ice cream.
Yeah, or mint in tea, but not necessarily in cooking. And dried mint is actually an important part of cooking in Turkish food.
And like roast lamb with a heavy mint sauce. I mean, you cannot.
Yep. Okay, so my pot is ready. I've got my koftas right here. We're just gonna go ahead and throw them on there. Might be able to hear the hiss.
So I have an electric stove that tends to go very slowly, but and that's also because I burn food into the show and never live it down.
we have a glass top, and actually I have to replace the glass top. Our microwave is right over top, and my wife went to grab a bowl and it was too hot, and she dropped it right in the glass top and cracked it. No. Yeah. So when you throw your kofta onto the you're gonna heat it on medium high. I mean, standard cooking meat rules apply. If you made it push down with your hands, the middle is going to be a little thicker than the outside. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a spatula and you're just gonna, and I can actually turn this down so you can see. There we go. Look at that. That's pro camera work right there.
Yep. So I'm going to make these a little bit bigger. Does this kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that'll work. Contrary to what many people will tell you, size does not matter.
I don't know what you mean, Kurt.
We're going to cook it for about 3 or 4 minutes on each side.
Okay.
Set my timer right now. And I am going to wash my hands.
You got to get rubber gloves, buddy.
Yeah, I know. I used to have a ton of them in the house. My wife used to be a practicing nurse, so we'd have a ton of latex gloves all over the place for lots of different things, or for no reason at all.
So I have to say, I make tons of meatballs. It's super important when you make a meatball that you don't smack it, but you kind of squeeze it like a baseball, because you don't want air pockets inside of it.
Yeah. So we typically make them. We take our hands and we kind of do a little like cupping here, and we press down.
Okay, well, so those smell unbelievable, for the record.
Does it smell close to what you had at the restaurant, or better?
It smells better, to be truthful. Wow. Oh, yeah, that looks great. You cute little spatula and everything.
Yeah. This is actually the wrong spatula for it. This is like a pancake spatula, but it's what I could find at the moment.
You know, it's interesting too, because cooking the meat, it's literally going to take 6 minutes, 7 minutes.
Yeah.
it's much more. I'm kind of getting the impression, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the stars of the show are going to be more the sides.
Oh yeah, yeah. For the most part, that's why I was saying Turkish meals tend to be really elaborate. It's never just like a main and a side.
Yeah.
It's a main and a ton of meze, a ton of different sides, appetizers, cold appetizers, hot appetizers. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it, or the meal itself is really complex, and then it becomes just the star of the show. So, like, one of my favorite dishes I made for Bryson a while back is mantı. Mantı is like a Turkish dumpling, and it requires you taking dough, rolling it out very thin, cutting it into squares, taking your meat, spicing it, mixing it kind of like we do with köfte, putting each into little squares, closing it up, etc.
Wow.
Boiling or frying it, then covering it with that's means time to flip it. Then covering it with the garlic yogurt sauce, and then making a paprika butter sauce.
Holy crap.
To go over that paprika, pepper paste, and butter goes on top. It is mantı is something that this is going to sound very chauvinistic, but I mean this was 1960s, 70s Turkey. That's what the housewives would make on Sundays. Before it was like the Sundays was for making mantı, and they would start early. They would start early in the morning to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's chauvinistic. I think that's the way it was, and
I mean, for today's standards, yeah. It's chauvinistic.
These days, my wife would be telling me on Sunday what she wants to eat, and making sure that I start at a reasonable time to make sure it's good.
Yeah.
I don't make any fuss about cooking for her, because she'll beat me.
Blink twice into the camera if you're under duress. 3 times. All right.
So, my kitchen right now smells like garlicky caramelized onion.
Mm-hmm.
It smells wonderful.
Now, some people also will throw some garlic into the köfte. You can. It's not something that I normally do, or my family ever did. That's a good idea. I've got 2 minutes. I'm going to step away and get a grab some more whiskey.
Would you serve this with like a bread, or just on its own?
Yes. Bread. Everything is served with bread in Turkish food. A good pide. Or if you don't have pide, obviously it's not exactly easy to find here. A good baguette. Toast it. Put it on the side.
I will say, Blendster does a good job of kind of toasting, like making bread and that kind of stuff. Baguette is the easiest thing in the world to make.
Really?
Yeah, it's not hard at all. It's a pain in the ass because it's so long. So if you don't have the facility to make something that's 17 inches long, but if you shorten down that bread recipe, it's easy as pie, and so good.
Wow. I've worked with plenty of yeast before. I brew mead. But I've never gotten into bread making. It's a lot of the same concepts there.
My issue with bread making is bakers.
I'm sensing a theme here. Did a baker scorn you at one point in your life, Mike?
Well, it's just I respect them. I really do. Because it takes a lot to follow a specific set of instructions and to kind of work inside micrograms and kind of those instructions to make it your own. I do respect that. I really, really do. But shut up already. It's a cup. Leave me alone. No, I can only say that because Keenan and Caitlin, who are doing a baking show next week, are not here, but they're probably going to watch this and kick my ass. So.
Oh yeah. All right. I'm gonna leave the rest off. I'm gonna plate these now.
Okay. I think I probably have about 4 minutes left on my meat. Let me just take a temperature.
Yeah, yours are a little bigger, so they may take a little longer.
Say, Kurt. Bigger's better. You told me that.
All right. So just so you guys can, let me bring it into the light here. I have a few more. I'm just gonna save cooking it for later, simply because we're kind of crunched for time here. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my fork here.
Yep.
Let's cut this open under the light.
Probably another 6 minutes.
Yeah. So you can see it's cooked all the way through. Only took 3 minutes on each side.
Beautiful.
It's got a nice, thankfully because of the pot, it's got those nice little char marks across.
Nice crust.
You can't really see because, nice crust.
Yep. Well, you can definitely. Looks really good. Looks really good.
All right. Let's take a bite here. Well, there we go. All right. Now, let's go ahead and plate some of this. And I'm using paper plates because I don't want to make a mess and have to clean up a ton of dishes afterwards.
Chicken.
Alrighty. So I'm going to spoon a little bit of the salad onto my plate here.
Are you doing beans on the side, and do you do the yogurt mixture on top, or does that go on the side as well?
That goes on the side. Well, it goes on the side, or you can just eat it honestly straight. Like I said, with the cucumbers in there, it can be like a cold soup, and you can have it straight from the bowl. But if you just put garlic yogurt, you can put it on top of the kefte like sauce. So that is actually what I'm going to do. Like I said, I was an idiot and forgot that I finished my cucumber. I'm going to take some of that. I'm just going to put it on the side right here.
So you're doing a fresh cucumber on the side as a garnish?
No. Normally, you put the fresh cucumber into the jajik. And so here is the. I need more light in here, man. All right. Hang on, I'm going to turn on this light over here, see if that helps. Not even a little bit. Oh, here we go. And so here's our.
Okay.
Sure, if I had a pretty plate, it would probably look nicer and more appetizing, but I promise you it's delicious.
No, I was going to put yellow. I was going to put yellow onion in it, but I don't think I'm going to do that.
You're going to put it on a nice plate, or you're not going to put it on?
I was going to cut up. Sorry, red onion. I was going to cut up a little bit of red onion, but I don't think I'm going to do that. Beans. Honestly, those beans are ridiculously good.
I'm being terribly rude. I'm eating before you're done yet.
Well, you're not doing. To the chef.
No, and hold off. No one said anything about not drinking. Oh, that's so good. All right, I guess I could put some of this stuff away in the meantime.
little bit more parsley never killed anybody, right?
Oh yeah. Like I said, how to be welcome, I don't know. All right. There.
I did a little bit of sprinkle of mint and a little sprinkle of parsley. It looks beautiful.
Into the judge.
Say again?
Into the judge.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
So I am plated, my friend. Where are you at?
I am plated. Come on, I'm coming. There we go.
Jeez.
Okay.
So it's a tradition. We show the plate, a big smile. We take a snapshot, and now we eat, my friend.
All right. That's the plate.
So piece of meat. The meat is beautiful, actually.
Mm.
Shut up. Shut up.
And the meat is so easy to make, right? The kofta is really easy to make, and it's just that's the reason why it was. Saying I was a difficult eater as a kid. So the one thing that I would eat kofta. So that's what do you want to eat? Kofta. We're making kofta. Okay.
So I'm moving in with Kurt. I'm announcing that today.
What's that?
So I'm moving in with you. That's fucking tasty as hell. My God. And the killer, it's not hard, and it's not expensive.
It just takes time. That's the main. But so like I said, so these I picked these meal dishes because they're the simplest that you can find. But like I said, unfortunately, simple dishes are not very common in Turkish cooking. So I tried to pick these types of things because, like I said, ain't nobody got time to spend hours at making cherkez tavu or something along those lines. So Circadian chicken.
I'm going to start making the time. This is absolutely delicious.
Yeah. There's a lot of great dishes that you can make. A lot of vegetable dishes, a lot of vegetable and bean dishes actually. Like for instance, I didn't really use too much breadcrumbs in our kofta. A lot of the cuisine actually comes from poverty, and so not a lot of people had money for meat in Turkey. So it was oftentimes be more breadcrumbs in there than there is meat. Bread is considered is almost sacred in Turkey. You don't see anyone actually throw bread away. If it becomes hard, they will give it to the birds. They'll put it out for the birds, for the cats, for the dogs. We have a lot of strays in Turkey. But no one throws bread away, and it's mixed into a lot of our foods.
So like I said, I had Turkish for dinner last night, takeout. I don't think I'm ever taking out Turkish again.
To be fair, it is hard to find good Turkish restaurants. And the problem is most people don't know what good or real Turkish food is from not.
So I'll be honest, the way that I cooked it, I would add more sumac next time, and I would probably add garlic powder to the meat. But I don't even think that's necessary because the garlic is coming through that yogurt like crazy.
Mm-hmm. And that's the salt that you add into the yogurt to bring out that flavor. And let it sit overnight in the fridge. It'll be stronger and tastier by the morning.
Tomorrow morning, I'm going to be sucking out the bowl for breakfast. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Well, Kurt, thank you, brother. This is absolutely fantastic. Appreciate you showing me.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad I was able to, share a bit of Turkish cuisine. I hope everyone else who watches it enjoys it, starts to, experiment with some of this stuff, and please, like we mentioned before, um, WC Kitchen, please go out, donate. A lot of hungry people, a lot of people suffering in Ukraine right now. They could use your help. So please open up your wallets.
Amen. I would also say follow Kurt the Turk on Twitter.
Yeah,
Don't follow me because I talk a lot about ketchup.
let me put Kurt. I believe my underscore is there. I think that's it. Kurt. But, that's private. Yeah, I think the underscore is the first one. Hold on, let me just go on Twitter and just double check.
You're fine.
How do I not know my own? Yeah, Kurt underscore the Turk.
Good. Follow Kurt. If you're going to be cooking anything with Unicorn Chef, make sure you hashtag us on the social media platforms, except for Pornhub. That's Bryson's personal account.
Or OnlyFans.
Or only. That's, you don't want to know what he does with a unicorn horn on OnlyFans. It's awesome. But thanks for coming. Cook this meal. It's unbelievable. Kurt, you're fucking awesome.
Thanks. You too, Mike.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers.